Hey, what's up, y'all? It's John Manolo, and I just want to say cheers to the tears, and here's a toast to the most. Salute for this new YouTube channel. Pretty much just gonna use this channel for anything else sneaker related, all of my other projects, this, that, and the third. So yeah, say what's up to my baby girl Kona. Right now, she's at a doggy day camp. I won't get her back until a few months from now, so I'm kind of missing my baby girl right now. All right, y'all. So back to the shoes. These, man, they're the soles. The uppers are cool. The soles are trashed beyond belief. Not only that, but the previous dude tried to sole sauce the rubber sole, so now it has no traction whatsoever. And I've worn these a few times. Big mistake, because I kept slipping and sliding since the chemicals in the sole sauce fucks up the traction. Alright, just the first step, I'm just gonna remove the laces while I stretch and show off my gains that I've lost during the summer. Alright, because of COVID. I'm gonna start removing the thread around the whole sole, since that's what's binding the rubber sole to the uppers if it wasn't for the glue. So I'm gonna pour acetone inside of the shoes to melt the adhesive. So I think I just finished filming when I was cleaning my the organ fours in the sink, so I'm just giving it a quick rinse before we I think I'm drunk. Alright, so while we're letting the acetone eat up the adhesive, we're gonna heat up some water until it's boiling lava hot. And then we're gonna pour that hot water inside of the soles of the Air Force Ones, so it'll heat up the acetone, causing the glue to further melt. And I'm just gonna do the same thing with the Bapestas. So I just want to test if the hot waters do its thing. I'm just gonna press it. Ow! Fuck! Alright, note to self, wear some damn gloves while you're handling some hot material. So I'm seeing that this area is having issues separating, and I'm not gonna force myself to rip it apart, because that's gonna damage the rubber sole. It's gonna tear the thin walls of the rubber. So what I'm gonna use is an X-Acto knife to relieve the stress, scathing the glue until it loosens up, and then I can pry it even more. Now I think the proper term is nicking or scoring. So this is the foam that are inside of the Bapestas. It's not as comfortable as the Air Force One, since Nike has like a softer foam and there's air inside. Well, damn, running into an issue with the donor that I use, that it's too big even though I use the same size. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order another pair of donors and go a half size down. Now, putting them back on the original soles, they do look short as well, but it's not as big of a difference if they were on the Air Force One soles. So now I have my new donors, except I wanted to make it look a little different, so I opted for the gum bottom soles. And when you're getting a donor, it doesn't matter if it's a high, mid, or low, the soles are the same soles. So Nike's using some kind of faux leather, because you can see it peel the top surface layer. Real leather does not do that. So yeah, they're using some fake ass leather for their shoes. Now I'm gonna clean up the midsoles with a Dremel tool, and I'm using a sand bit, so it's a sandpaper attachment for a Dremel tool, and I feel like it's the best type of tool to use when you're trying to clean up rubber portions. Now, putting the Bapestas on top of the Air Force One looks a lot better. It looks just like when we put it on top of the original soles. There's still a little bit of a gap, so we're gonna offset it by placing it directly in the middle, so then we have an equal distance from the heel to the upper and the toe to the upper. Then we'll just glue it together. The foam is sitting a little too high, so I'm gonna shave off about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter of foam so the uppers can sit flush with the midsole. So now we're going to prep the midsole for a reglue, and all I'm doing is cleaning the surface area with acetone and cotton balls, as well as the uppers as well. So the adhesive I'm using is Barge Cement Super Stick, and I'm just going to apply it all over the soles and use a brush to evenly distribute the adhesive. Because the Air Force Ones have different dimensions than the Bapestas, we're going to need to accommodate how wide the Air Force Ones are by splitting the Bapesta strobe board open, so then we won't run into any issues with the fitment. This way we can make it as narrow as we need to and as wide as we need to. So now that that's taken care of, we're going to use a blow dryer to heat up the adhesive on both surfaces and then bond them together. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the sides. Now we're going to stitch the midsole back to the uppers, and all I'm using is a sewing awl accompanied with this thread that I bought long time ago, but you can get a replacement. Just look up Texlon 400 on Amazon and you'll get the same thickness as the factory. So I've noticed that the swoosh. The Bapesta star is a little bit yellow and dingy. Also, the threading is discolored. So what we're gonna do is we're going to tape around it and airbrush it back to white. Shout out to all the bald people for the quarantine haircut. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting patiently until the stay in place order is lifted, so then I can go see my barber again and kiss him and hug him, because I miss that dude, man. He makes me look so good, bro. And I'm just gonna prep it with my favorite duo, acetone and cotton balls, and then start airbrushing. But before we get to painting, we gotta prep the material even more by adding an adhesion promoter. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm using tape to remove any dust, any particles that might have been stuck to the Bapesta star. So I'm just removing a lint with a piece of tape before I airbrush. So for this, I'm not going to keep it that matte look. I'm going to add a satin varnish to it just to give it a nice sheen, but not too glossy. And just to make sure everything is tip-top shape, I'm going to just clean the whole upper with some rejuvenator. So get your product down below in the description. The link is down there, y'all. I'm not gonna reuse these worn down insoles. I'm gonna use a brand new insole from a Nike insole, but first I have to measure how big the logo is, because I'm gonna be making my own Bapesta insole reusing a Nike insole. So I'm dabbing a little bit of acetone onto the swoosh, so that'll lift it up, and all I gotta do is just peel it off. But you have to be careful because the paint will transfer onto the fabric, which you don't want, which is inevitable. So just do your best not to leave any marks while doing this step. So this part that I'm showing you, I used like a low quality photo, so it showed a lot of jagged edges, so it did mess with the quality of the stencil cut. But for this cut, I use a crystal clear PNG file off of the internet, and it looks amazing. So make sure to get high quality photos for when you do stencil work. So I'm just gonna crank my I was gonna say blow jar. I am off my game today. My iron on its highest setting and just iron away until it's bonded. Alright, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it is a new channel, so I want those subs up all the way. And hope you guys have a great day. Yay! And make sure to join my Patreon, y'all. Alright, peace.
Wait, hold up. Tell that bitch wipe me down, I'm a a-hole. If you ain't got the bag, bitch, what I came for? 100 pennies make $1 with my change, bro. No habla English, I need my pesos, mijo.